Hey guys, well, I'll tell you, I love this time of year. When we're in New Orleans this time of year, I know football's around the corner, and I've had enough vacation time. Our players are excited. We've had a great off season, so I know we're ready to get started. I think the Sun Belt Conference does a great job putting on Media Day here in the Superdome. Great venue. Matter of fact, I like the Superdome a lot. But nevertheless, they've done a great job, and I appreciate everybody coming out today. This is a really nice event. It's a great event for our conference. Starting off about our football team, last year we did not handle expectations very well. We were just about unanimous picks to win the conference, and that was a little too much, I felt like, for us to handle looking back. We did not approach it the right way. This year, the expectations are different. And I think that's added a completely different element to our off-season training and our preparation. It's put a chip on our shoulder. And it's been great to get a chip on our shoulder again. We hadn't had a chip on our shoulder like this, to me, since our first year in 2011 as a program, when we were picked to finish 120th in the country. And we finished with a 9-4 record. So that's been a plus to have that chip back on our shoulder. We've got two great players here you're going to get a chance to visit with today, Dominic Tovell, Michael Quave. I'm really glad I had a chance to do what I told them that I was going to do for them if they came to the University of Louisiana. One was give them a chance to graduate. Both these guys are on track to graduate on time. The second was a chance to compete for championships. They've won 4 New Orleans Bowl championships. They've won a conference championship. And the next thing was to hopefully give them an opportunity to play at the next level, and I think those guys are going to have a chance to do that too. Another thing I'm also awfully proud of that they had a part of is we just won our second football academic Sun Belt Conference championship back-to-back, and we're excited about that, and that's because of their hard work. You know, of all the Group 5 teams, we've got the 5th most wins as a program in the last 4 years of all the teams in the Group 5, and so we think we've laid a great foundation. Now, where do we go from there? How do we get better? How do we improve? Well, we think the foundation is there. The things that we're fixing to do, I think, are going to help us in the future as we continue the process of becoming a championship program. Some of the things we're doing is what Scott Farmer has done for our program, and our president, Dr. Savoy, our athletic director, Scott Farmer. The week before the Kentucky game, we'll be moving into a brand new 100,000 square foot facility, which will aid in recruiting, which will also help us train our current student athletes even at a higher level. So that is a very a big thing that we're looking forward to. Our players are extremely excited. I know I'm excited about moving into that new facility. Now, moving on to this season. Terrence Broadway is not here today at Media Day. Unfortunately, you know, starting quarterbacks eventually move on. And so now we've got the challenge of finding a new starting quarterback. We've got 3 candidates. Don't ask me today who the starter is going to be. When you find out, will be the same time that Mark Stoops at Kentucky finds out, and when we run out on the field for the first play of the game. So, but we do like those guys. They're different. One can throw, one can pass. They're both very talented. Elijah McGuire returns in the backfield. We had a great tandem last year, 1-2 tandem with him and Alonzo Harris. Alonzo Harris is now obviously with the Green Bay Packers, but we have a lot of kids in the backfield that's played an awful lot in the last 3 years with Montrell Carter, Ephraim Reed, Torrey Pierce, and then a talented freshman. So excited about our backfield. Offensive line, to me, brings back a lot of experience. We are going to have to break in a new tight end. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but the kids have played there too. Receiver core, I think our receiving core is going to be very deep and talented with the return of Jamal Robinson. And then you look on the defense side of the ball, we have a new defensive staff, and I couldn't be more excited about our defensive staff. I think it's the best defensive staff from top to bottom that we've had in 4 years. Melvin Smith, Charlie Harbinson come to us as coordinator and co-coordinator. They both coached in the national championship game 2 years ago, so they bring a wealth of experience to our staff along with Mike Lucas and Levon Harbin. So we're really excited about the direction of our defense. I think we're going to be much improved there. I think we're going to be tougher. I think we're going to get more pressure on the quarterbacks, and I think we're going to be hopefully a more balanced team defensively. Special teams, we have another kicker from Australia. I'm still waiting for Mr. Farmer to let me go down and take a home visit. Some of those kids are recruiting out of Australia and Melbourne. But he is going to be an exciting player. Stephen Coots, he's got the strongest leg that I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot. Last year, Daniel Cadona, I thought, was the strongest. He has overtaken that as a true freshman, but he's just going to play in his first college football game here in about 6 weeks. And so we'll see how that goes. So it's an exciting time for our program. It's an exciting time to be in Lafayette with all the success of all our athletic programs this past season. And now as we move forward into 2015. So I'll open up with that and see if anybody's got any questions.
You mentioned expectations and you mentioned Chip. Did you guys expect to be picked to win it, and is being picked second enough of a chip?
Well, you know, if you say pick second, is that enough? You know, if you look in a lot of some of the magazines, we've been picked anywhere between 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. And last year, you know, it was all about everybody was asking all our seniors, are we're going to go undefeated, or we're going to win it. I'm like, hey guys, whoa, we're getting way out of hand here. We just want to win the first football game, and that's the approach we're taking it. But that is a chip in our program. When we've been the most successful team in the conference, as far as total wins, bowl wins, you know, we feel like we've laid a good foundation. We just want to now try to continue to improve as a program, and anything that you can find to put a chip on your shoulder, on your player's shoulder, is always a plus.
Coach, how's it going, by the way?
Good.
What does Brooks Hack bring to the table that Terrence does not? Obviously, Terrence was a top-notch performer, but
right.
What does Brooks have that you like in him?
You know, Brooks, a couple things. One, this kid in high school, I think he was like 33-3 as a starting quarterback. He's a winner. He throws a really good ball. And he was put in some situations last year, not just mop-up duty. If you remember, in the Georgia State game, some other games, he came in some critical times and moved the football team and performed at a high level. And he's had a great offseason too. So he showed some great leadership, but the other quarterbacks are competing well and doing some of those same things. I think we got 3 really talented ones.
I know you're not going to name a starting quarterback today, but you did say that you might hold up all the way until kickoff for the Kentucky game. Is that actually part of your plan?
Well, the quarterbacks will know. I will know. Coach Johnson will know. As far as everybody else, those are probably the only 4 people that will know. Some of our team. But today with social media, I don't know if, as much as some of our players tweet out, I don't know if I'm going to let some of our other players know. But that's, you know, football is about deception. And so that's one area of deception that hopefully will be somewhat of an advantage. And you need all the advantages you can get here these days in college football. No, have not made a decision, and that is the honest truth there. We have not made a decision. All 3 quarterbacks will get a chance to compete for the starting job. We'll get an opportunity to go with the ones. They have all 3 worked hard this summer. They all 3 deserve that opportunity.
Hey, Coach. Talk about last year, how handling expectations was tough for them. What about Elijah McGuire and all the expectations he has as a running back heading into this season? You
know, I hope he handles it well. I think he has so far. I think Elijah, the key to his success so far, is he's a very humble player. He's got a great spirit about him. He just loves to compete, and if he can keep his head on straight, he's got a chance to have an outstanding year, and he has a chance to, you know, he's already over 2,000 yards. He's the 2nd player in the history of the school to be able to do that so far, and so with Tyrell Finroy. And so he's got a chance, if he continues to stay healthy over the next 2 years, he'll have a chance to leave UL as an all-time leading rusher in school history. Go ahead. Right.
Coach, you talked about, you heard the commissioner talk about the balance of schedule. Do you like the way it sets up for you guys this year in terms of, you know, one game against Kentucky, but in terms of money games and the mix you guys have this year?
I do. I like our schedule. We do a great job scheduling. Scott Farmer, I think, has got the right recipe for our scheduling. You know, we've played some really tough opponents, but we're also playing, like Commissioner Benson said, a very balanced schedule. You know, we're playing some tough opponents from the Power 5, then we're playing some other tough opponents from the Elite 5, and so we're excited about that. We've got a home and home that we're returning the trip to Louisiana Tech, and then Akron's returning a trip to us. And so I think our conference is tough enough. Our conference is deep. It's a talented conference. talented coaches, veteran coaches at every stop. And so it's hard enough within our conference. And then you get to scheduling too many games outside of conference. That makes it that much tougher.
Hey, Coach, up front, what are the benefits of your program having played in a bowl game here 4 straight years? And is there any feeling that it's kind of stale, the fact that you keep coming back here?
You know, coming to the Superdome and playing on national TV and getting to stay here in New Orleans for a week, don't get stale to me, you know, but we just, it's an honor to go to a bowl, to any bowl. And for us, though, you know, as a goal of our program, and I make no bones about it, we want to become a BCS Buster program. Now, are we there yet? Obviously, we're not. And it's a process. But if you look at some of the other teams across the country that have done that, you take up Boise, who beat Arizona this year, I think, in the Fiesta Bowl. You know, we played Boise this year. If we could have, you know, maybe had a chance to win that game and one more, maybe could that be us? Who knows? But that's what we're aspiring to. And I think with the facility that we just completed and are about to move into, with the support of our administration and our community in Lafayette, and the way our football players are working, the way we're recruiting, that's what we want to get to one day. And we think we're awfully close. But only time will tell, and that's part of the journey. And I always tell our players, you know, it's the journey, not the destination. Because if we ever get to that point, we'll want to surpass that. And so we have lofty expectations every year.
Coach, you guys were really excited. Over here, Coach. You guys were really excited to get Jamal Robinson back for an extra year. Where's he at mentally and physically, and really what's the ceiling on his season this year?
You know, if he can stay healthy, I think he's got a chance to be one of the top receivers, obviously, not only in the conference but in the country. I think everybody saw what he could do early in the year with some of the plays that he was making early. It was a big dagger when we lost him, because I thought offensively we lost a lot of confidence in our offense when we lost him, because he was a guy that we could go to on third down that could make some plays, and he could make plays when really wasn't a play there to be made. He made us look like good coaches, and good players do that. And so if he can stay healthy, and I think he's in a good place mentally right now. He's had a good off season, so if he can stay the course and stay healthy, I think he'll really be a big asset for our offense this fall.
Coach, in the back by the cameras. You mentioned the total wins, the bowl wins. Last year, you got a chance to play one of the 2 new members of the conference in App State, so I haven't played Georgia Southern. What is the addition of, you know, some teams that were able to compete right away? What is that going to do to the ability for your program to be consistent year in, year out?
Well, I know this, and I told everybody last year, everybody I talked to about Appalachian State and Georgia Southern joining our league, and I told them right away, these 2 teams are going to compete at a high level and for a championship from day one, because both those programs had done it at a different conference. And just because they were changing conferences doesn't change that they know how to win. And I think we saw that last year. And they really added to the depth of this conference, and they just made it a better conference. And so it's a challenge, though, each time you come into anybody's stadium in this conference and in this league. It's a challenge each week.
Coach, can you kind of talk about, I guess, is there some frustration on not being able to play Georgia Southern? I know for the guys it's got to be, man, I wish we had a chance at them after last year.
Well, you always like competing against the best. And, you know, right now in our current structure, we don't have a conference championship game. Who knows if we may get to that. We're trying to figure out, is that going to be the best thing for our conference? And I think time will tell. And there's a lot of pluses, and maybe that might work out to where you can have a true on-the-field winner when you don't play everybody. If we don't have a championship game, you'd like to have, you know, be able to play everybody, but the number of teams, you can't do that. So, but they had an outstanding season. You've got to give them credit, an outstanding year, and they're going to be tough again along with everybody else in this conference. And so you just better take care of your business each Saturday, and all you can do is that and see where you fall.
Hey, Mark, Adam Hunsucker with the Monroe News Star. You know, with Coach Carl Benson's address earlier about looking for that 12th member and what they bring to the table as far as you know, getting to that level. What would you like to see from the next member to come in this conference?
Well, I just want whoever comes into this conference as a 12th team, we want to bring something to the conference. And you know, when I look at who we just added, I thought Appalachian State and Georgia Southern brought a lot to our conference. And sometimes the Sun Belt takes a hit, unfortunately, to me. I think it's one of the top of the Elite 5 conferences out there. When you look at who we brought into our conferences compared to some other conferences, who they joined. Some other conferences took teams into their conference who had never even played football, started up new programs. And we added two of the most prestigious programs in the country out of FCS. And so I just think that was a big a get for our conference, and hopefully we continue looking for those type of teams that can really bring some validity to our conference, and for the most part in football, in my eyes.
Hey, Mark, right here. With regard to cost of attendance stipend, you guys are one of the schools that are participating in it. Some in the league are not. I mean, do you think that can create some sort of competitive advantage in your favor, and have you seen it pay off in recruiting just yet?
Right now we've got committed players along with most everybody else in the country, but it has not even come up one time, if you can believe that or not. And I just think even though that we are, and some schools are not, everybody's eventually going to get to that. But I still think that student athletes are going to make the decision about their next 4 or 5 years on the university itself, on the people itself, on the opportunities themselves, and not just because of a little extra stipend on top of the scholarship. I'm anxious to see how that's going to work out. I don't know if I've always been a proponent of that, but I'm anxious to see how that works out. And if it's a plus for our student athletes, I'm always for it. I just hope it is a plus for our student athletes and they use it in a way that's beneficial to them in a positive way.
How important do you think it is to have a title game, or are there enough cons that it makes you think maybe not?
I think there's a lot of pros and cons, and I think if we could get a great TV contract for that on a national stage at a primetime spot, I think it would be great for our conference. It would have to be a televised primetime spot to me to be worth it. And was it financially? Is it going to be financially a positive for the conference and for the schools involved? And if so, then I think it'd be a great move moving forward to get that, so we can crown a true champion and create one more week of buzz about the Sun Belt Conference. And so anything we can do to push it forward, but it's got to work. Also, the negative of that is if a team is undefeated and they lose in the conference championship game, could that knock them out of a possible New Year's Day bowl game? So we've got to weigh all those things out as athletic directors and as football coaches to see what the best move is. There are pros and cons for both.
Would you also have to weigh, relation to that same question, would you also have to weigh, like if the situation was last year where you're in second place, potentially playing for a conference championship and also playing a bowl game a week later then in that case? Is that something you kind of have to look at?
Yeah, it would be 2 weeks later, but that is part of the challenge. That's part of the scenarios, and piecing all that together is the challenge that I think that our commissioner and our presidents and athletic directors have. And so what we want to do is what is best for the conference. To me, I want to do what's best for our conference exposure, what's best for our university's exposure, and hopefully we can figure that out here pretty soon, because I know a lot of conferences are trying to do the same.
Coach, good morning. You mentioned earlier about not living up to expectations last year. What would a win versus Kentucky this year do for the confidence of your program going into the season?
Well, I think any win, gives your team confidence. But a win over an SEC team would be an unbelievable boost. Our conference has done awfully well. If you think about the wins our conference has had in the last few years, Louisiana Monroe has had a big win over Arkansas, and then took Auburn to the wire, almost another win there. Western Kentucky, when they were in the conference, had beaten Kentucky. Georgia Southern beat Florida, and so our conference has fared very well against the SEC, and hopefully we can compete well. Kentucky's got an outstanding team. Coach Stoops does a great job there, and they've got a talented team coming back, opening up a brand new addition to their stadium. So it's going to be a tall order to go in there, because they're going to be full of juice, and so we're going to have to play awfully well. But that would be obviously a big confidence boost.
Hey, Coach Hud in the back. Run me through this. Does the Sun Belt decide where teams go bowl games if you're bowl eligible? And if so, could you, after 4 years in a row being here, push for somewhere else? Just because I know you love New Orleans and y'all 4-0 here, but could y'all have a say that it's maybe time to go somewhere else here for a bowl game?
Possibly so. I don't know how all the scenarios work with the conference and with the schools. but that might be a possibility. You know, if a bowl wanted us to come to their bowl site, which would be an honor to go to any bowl. But because we've got 4 really quality bowl sites that truly treat all our student athletes well at each one of them. So, you know, for us though, and what we want to do is we want to just take it one game at a time. And if we do that, we'll just let everybody else figure that out. They tell us where to go, we will go, and we will be there. And hopefully we'll play well, because we've played awfully well in the bowl games, and hopefully we can continue to do so.
Coach, right here in front, what's been the players' reaction to the all-new defensive coaching staff, and what are the challenges associated with bringing in all new guys and changing up some stuff that you guys are doing?
Well, the change part of it, as far as the scheme, that doesn't concern me as much, because football, when it gets down to it, it's all about gap defense, regardless if it's four down linemen, 3 down linemen, 5 down linemen. It's all about playing gap defense. It's about playing hard. It's about playing sound. It's about tackling. It's about getting to the football. The thing that our defensive coaching staff, our new defensive coaching staff, has brought is the attitude they've brought, the way our kids trust them, the way our kids believe in them, the spirit that they've brought to our team. I just think that they're going to do a great job leading our defense. I think we're going to be able to put more pressure on the quarterback, and I think they're going to play awfully hard.
Coach, do you guys have a motto this year? Don't let go of the rope, that type of thing. If you do, what is it?
Our motto this year is be ready. And, you know, if you think about it, that sort of is, to me, the perfect motto for a team in football. Because, you know, you get a turnover on offense, your defense better be ready. Defense gets an interception, your offense better be ready. Opening kickoff, you better be ready. Opening game, you better be ready. And so for us, it's being ready at a moment's notice throughout the season and staying ready. You can't just get ready from time to time. And early in the season last year, we were not ready in some of our early games. And so this year, we want to be ready. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.